Welcome back, everybody, to Subverted Subversions, episode 22, the most Australia Maxed podcast, the most Australia Maxed literary podcast you will find on the internet. I swear to God. I swear to fucking Christ. I'm Jesse Larkins, the author of Soapscum, and I'm with my gracious friend, my esteemed co-host, the king of cringe. How you doing, man?
Doing great. I'm here to say that you're lying because Book Club from Hell is actually Australian. So we're just
Oh, fuck.
we're,
All right,
we're
well.
yeah we're American wannabes. We're not real.
Yeah,
We're
gonna
not
have to
real
take in
Australians.
the test then.
Oh shit.
Gonna have to take book of. I'm gonna cut out the accent immediately before it
Yeah.
goes too far. Okay. Episode 22, guys. We're joined today, by an esteemed author, a legend, some would say, in our scene. He's the author of many great Substack articles. He's the author of The Last Free Man, Remembering the Dead, The Everlasting. I'm sure tons of other great shit to come out in the future. It's the author Lewis Woolston. How's it going, man?
Oh, I'm very good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. It's of all the guests, you were definitely up on the list for a minute there.
Yeah, we've been wanting to do this for a while. Like I think you reached out to us like months ago, right? And we were like, yeah, just wait a minute, bro.
That's all right. We
So
got there in the end.
yeah, we're finally here.
We're here,
So
guys. We're finally doing it.
talk about yeah.
Yeah, we King and I read The Everlasting. Um right. Did you read
Yeah.
any other ones, King, or was it
No,
just
I
that one?
just I just got around to the everlasting, and
Okay.
yeah,
And
we
we did not get a chance to divulge our thoughts to each other yet. So this is going to be a completely
this is first
you know,
time, yeah.
yeah, this is going to
It'd be
be
really funny.
our sorry, what was
It'd be
that?
really funny if you both turned around and said it sucked. Not
We're
sure
like,
where the
yeah,
conversation goes after
we're
that.
actually here to roast you and
We're actually
tell you
here,
how much we
yeah.
didn't like it.
But
No,
yeah, yeah. Actually, Jesse, what did you think of it?
yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was
Okay.
fantastic. I don't know what's up with you fucking Australians, but both you and Jack Norman both have moved me to tears with your work. So
Oh,
that
thank
there was
you.
definitely some pretty profound stuff in this work. I really can't wait to get into it. Um, yeah, particularly the story of the everlasting. I was just like, oh man, I was just crying so hard in the last few pages there. But yeah, yeah, general sense, yeah, big fan of the book. We'll definitely break it down. But what about you, King?
Yeah. So this is. I'm so glad you liked it. Just see, um, and I wouldn't even say that I disliked it, but it's. I'm in this weird zone where I think it's a well written book. I do think that technically, Lewis, you've done a good job, and I like how you've read. Like you've put a lot of, I think, personal stuff into it that 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 I think a lot of people sometimes are too afraid. Like they step away from what their true beliefs are. But it's funny that just on a weird level, I think we're all like political opposites ideologically. Yeah. It was hard for me to enjoy it, but I'm like, nah, it's still well written though. And it'll be fun and interesting to see how different our the way we see the world and how that relates to the book for sure.
For sure.
We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, let's just kind of get into it. Let's see. Should we kind of start breaking down some of the stories? Should we just kind of jump into what it means thematically?
Yeah, I mean, however you want to start, because I think you probably know better than me. Yeah,
Well, let's see. Well, yeah, I mean, like you were saying, these are very human
yeah,
stories. Um, they are marred by both tragedy and beauty, and they are all kind of let's see, they all kind of have this understanding of the passing of time, um, and there's a lot of like bittersweetness and homesickness to the kind of writing. Um, yeah, Lewis, what were kind of your intentions behind the piece?
Um, so I'm one of those writers that just mines their own life pretty heavily, and I make no bones about that. You've got to get your raw material from somewhere, so that's mine. Um, the particular topics in this one, I couldn't tackle before, and I felt like it was time, and I sort of worked my way up to the everlasting, and felt it was time. And honestly, when I finished it, there was a deep relief. I'd almost say healing, but not quite, but definitely relief, and felt like something had been settled now. Yeah, so it's those themes had been brewing for a while, and they needed to be written about. I think, from my perspective.
Yeah, there's a lot of like self-reflection going on, whether it's pieces that feel very like directly personal, or whether they're just like whether they're fictive characters. They're all kind of in a state of reflecting on where they've come from and how they got to where they're at now. And is that kind of where you see yourself now as an adult? You're really looking back on all your life choices and your decisions, and how that's led to where you're at.
Yeah, well, I am. I'm a bit older than you fellas. I'm 46, so I have a lot more to look back on.
That's true.
Um, and just I think as you get older, I think there is a tendency always to just to look back a bit and think about the choices you made and where they led you. And there's a particular type of literature, type of book that has always appealed to me is like the big story from womb to tomb, and what choices you made along the way and where you ended up. Um, I'm talking about books like Of Human Bondage by Somerset Maugham, or The Forsyte Saga by John Galsworthy. I don't know if you've read any of them, but that big sort of let's look at life kind of literature that really floats my boat. I really am attracted to that sort of thing. I hope one day to write a big inch thick novel along those lines, but for the moment, I'm still doing short stories.
You know, I
You
think,
see,
yeah, it's a really retrospective in a sense, and I think me and Jesse were talking a little bit like it's almost meditative. I don't know what's going on with you Australian guys, but like I don't know if it's just the sea that you guys just like meditate on things and think about like the existentialism of life all the time, you know?
It's because there's nothing here. It's the desert or the beach, and both the desert and the beach sort of lead you
that
to big thoughts. You know,
that's what King was saying. King was like, it's just because you guys are living near the beach. That's what you guys are philosophizing your lives because you live near the beach.
it's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, stand and look at the waves and think about life. It's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a great line in I think there's a you say it a couple times. I think in the last story where you're like where I'm having big stare at the beach thoughts or something like that, like big
yeah,
staring at the ocean thoughts. And yeah, I did think that was beautifully kind of tied to like the existentialism of like looking back at your life and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you could see yourself writing like a my struggle or whatever.
I'd love to take my shot at it. Yeah, just like a big inch thick, womb to tomb, big deep novel. That's something I'd love
Doorstopper.
to do. Yeah.
I think that would be very readable because this honestly I crushed this really fast. I was just
yeah.
flying through it. It was such an enjoyable quick read. I mean, it's emotionally heavy, but it's like it's just very breezy, I guess, in its language, and it's easy to just tear through.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
definitely. Oh, sorry. Go on, Lewis.
yeah. Well, I tend to sort of lean towards a sort of meat and potatoes kind of prose. Partly it's because I don't have a great deal of formal education, but I think it just works better for me with the subject matter to just be sort of meat and potatoes and just tell the story, you know?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting in the sense of like a lot of people like to make stories about drug use and stuff like that, and they're very melodramatic about it. Whereas I feel like you took a much more clinical approach to it. It's almost like 9 to 5 drug use. I don't know if I've seen that many where like people aren't like crying about how much. I mean, you could feel it, but it wasn't like my life is hell. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. I feel like with a longer book, you could definitely expand on that more. At least, give more facts because it seems like you were in it like pretty hard with the heroin, right?
Yeah, it was the 90s in Australia. It was a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you capture a very, lived in, honest, uh, authentic portrayal of drug addicts. um yeah, basically throughout the whole book it captures your experience with NA and like the people you've met through that system and the tragedies that were their lives or became of their lives.
Mm. Yeah, it's just a lot of that is just writing what I remember, and writing with my second book, the one before this one, Remembering the Dead. I That book started because I tried finding some people that I knew back in the day, and and I sort of googled a couple names and expecting to find them on social media or something, and the first one I tried, I found his grave on like one of these family history websites, and he died in 2010, and you know, and I don't think anyone really gave that much of a shit, to be honest. Um, and I thought about that, and I felt like I had a responsibility to tell the stories of these people because no one else really cared very much about them. Society doesn't care about dead drug addicts at all. They're just a file on a coroner's thing somewhere. Um, so the I felt like someone had to record this and write this down and tell these stories. Um, I can't explain it better than that. I just felt like there had to be a witness, there had to be a record of these things, you know?
Yeah, it feels like yeah, it feels like you're giving like a proper like funerals for these people or proper you know uh yeah, just like a proper goodbye, a proper like honor of the memory that you still have, that because you're like the last living record or something,
Yeah,
like.
literally. Yeah.
Yeah, that especially comes through. I think it was the second story. I've got the book with me right here. Yeah, Kevin
Kevin Bradford.
Bradfield's Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was super moving. I was not expecting that piece. I'm assuming that's just a real story, that was just you recalling something that happened to you.
A little bit of embellishment, but basically true, yes.
Okay. So yeah, I noticed that, even with the stories that feel like very just like you could argue, like you, from a reader's perspective, it felt like clearly ripped like from your life, like verbatim or something, like you were just telling us a story. The characters, when their names are mentioned, they're obviously not named Lewis, so is that you trying to still keep some sort of a like a fictive divorce between yourself and what you're writing about?
Yeah, some of the more personal ones, like the Everlasting and the Only Teacher That Ever Reached Me, I started doing calling the character Luke Walton. I got the idea from Charles Bukowski, who always had his alter ego as Henry Chinaski.
Hmm.
And sort of when you read that, you know that's actually Charles Bukowski, but he's changed things just enough to not get sued, you know. And I figured I would do the same. Luke Walton, yeah,
Yeah.
seemed sensible. And I find I needed to change a few details and have just enough distance, emotional distance, to do it properly. It's basically, yeah. So that there is a little bit of, even the things that are really based on truth, there's always a little bit of fiction just to keep the distance.
Yeah. I will say this might this is gonna sound weird, but is this actually the story that offended me the most? And it's like it's really funny because just like maybe I'm too online, you know. This is the problem. I'm too young, I'm too online, like I don't think about things in like, retrospective, but like I was just and the thing is like I think you've made me feel things for this character, right? That gets killed, and I think the fact that you caused like this is a story with I think a lot of emotional resonance. But if I could get to my through line, like I was reading this and I was just feeling at the end where I'm like, I just want these, I'm still stuck in, these people need to stay in the fucking jail thing. Like, it was like, it's the friend that like that we were with, and it's just like it's just so unfair, it's all these complicated feelings, and I guess like from what like my taking thoughts at the end, like it posed the question like, okay, so like Hitler, right? He does the Holocaust, but then like if he changes his mind and he's like, yo, but I'm a Christian now, and he says my bad, it's like, do we just go like, oh yeah, Hitler's cool now? It's just like I don't know. I don't know if but obviously that's like an extreme version of this, right? But it
That's a
was
big
just what
jump.
was go. Yeah, it's just like what was going through my mind, where it's like I don't know if I could just like give up on, and it's obviously very tribalistic, and but yeah, this was the story where I was like I don't know, it's giving me a lot of feelings and like emotions. So
Well, that's good.
yeah, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Louis, but you know,
Um, with that story, or with a lot of stories, my general vibe, like I grew up basically white trash, and
yeah,
um, I always felt it was really unfair. You know, I think I'm pretty bright. I think if I had been born into a different socioeconomic thing, a different family, life could have been better and different for me. And a lot of people I've known, I just thought if you just had a few better things early in life, your life could have been completely different. And the unfairness of that has always bothered me. And
yeah,
again, going back to being a witness to these people's lives and trying to record them, to actually say that, to say, look, these people aren't bad people per se. They're poor white trash and they got shat on by society. And that led them to becoming junkies and whatever else and fucking up their lives. So, and it felt really
yeah,
important to record those lives and say that, I guess.
yeah. I'm too online. That makes. I'm just like, oh, but the theoretical, if we take this to its most extreme conclusion, it doesn't, but yeah, I could see that,
Well,
but yeah,
I thought that was what was so effective about it, was that it put you in your
yeah,
position as the person who knew these people and could speak to their humanity. And it really was complicated because yeah, it raises all the typical questions that um comes with forgiveness and redemption and and what do we do about people who maybe do their time or whatever, and then if they're reformed, like how do we deal with that person now? I thought it was very effective in that sense, that it really just put me in the position of understanding where you were coming from and
Yeah.
why you chose forgiveness.
Yeah, and with Kevin's life himself, I mean, poor Kevin didn't have much of a chance, and the choices he made were rational from where he was. Like he wasn't as urgent to get into recovery as I was. He because there wasn't many good options for him in life, and that just makes it a bit more morally complicated, I think, which is always good for a writer. Moral
Yeah.
complications are always good. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I would say definitely that a lot of this could could raise a lot of like complicated feelings within someone, especially all the religious stuff. um your Jehovah's Witness, were you actually a Jehovah's Witness growing
My,
up, or?
my parents raised me in it. I hated it from as young as I could remember. I never believed in it, but I couldn't get out of it until I got older. So I sort of had to participate. And what generally happens in groups like that is that the kids all appear to toe the line and get really good at lying and sneaking around and getting up to forbidden fun, which is exactly what I did. Yeah. So
It paved the way for you to become a vandal.
yeah, yeah, it did.
yeah, I mean, like, growing up religious, it is a lot of like Pokemon is the devil, and you're like, I don't know, guys. I think this shit is a bit. I think you're taking things a bit too far, bro. Harry Potter's not that bad, my guy. But then, like, reading it, it's just like, stop playing Nirvana or I'm gonna beat your ass. You're like, whoa, you know?
Well, back then, and this is
Yeah,
like late '80s, early '90s, the big boogeyman for the hardcore religious groups was satanic music. Like the
yeah.
devil will get you through a Guns N' Roses CD. And it was just stupid. It was really fucking stupid. Like, but yeah,
Yeah, you the I think it was in Everlasting, you outline the main character outlines that you like 90s rock music really like showed him the way, like saved him from the hellscape that was his dad's abuse, basically listening to fucking Kurt Cobain and all those guys.
yeah, yeah, very much so. Yeah.
So was that was
Yeah.
that sorry, Ken, was go
No, I
ahead.
was gonna ask, are you still into that? Is that the music you listen to all the time, like Nirvana and?
Yeah, I mean, my tastes have expanded a bit, but that was the core entry point for me for music. Yeah, I like I like dirty white boys with drug habits and guitars. That's what works.
That's the soundtrack to the Everlasting. It's dope.
Yeah, dirty long haired druggies.
Yeah.
I can't do hip hop. It does nothing for me. I'm like, what's the fucking point of it?
You're like Ben Shapiro.
Are there any like what Australian rappers? I don't like it would I don't know how you could do it like Oi
Fortunately,
Mike.
yes.
They got it.
Yes.
They got raw play bitch.
Um,
Unfortunately, yes.
there's Hilltop Hoods from Adelaide. There's that Kid Leroy dickhead and various others. I don't like any of them. No.
Oh
And
shit.
now they've started rapping in Australian accents, and it's just like, oh, we're reaching levels of cringe that shouldn't be possible.
Uh,
King, that's what your next book should be about.
Australian rappers.
Yeah, Australian rappers. We gotta unlock a whole new level of cringe.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. You're right. Just put right all the cringe things in the world in the book. Oh, but that'd be cool though, because like I do think this book has a lot of Australian influences in it, and this I guess if you did make a book about all the cringe things in Australia, like it's something you only you could do, right? I don't know who else could do it.
Where would I even fucking start? I mean,
Yeah, that's what's so great about this book is that it has so much character because it's completely rooted in Australia. um yeah, not where like Jack's book is like constantly describing paddocks, but but this it's like, yeah, you almost like get an idea of like where everything's located almost like just by reading this.
a little bit, yeah. I when I started writing, I when I very first started writing, I made the mistake of trying to follow trends and things. And at that time, I'm talking around like 2012, and Game of Thrones was really big. And I tried writing a big sci-fi fantasy epic, and I was terrible at it. I've long since deleted that, but I have this nightmare where someone drags it back up. It was terrible. And when I started writing the stuff I'm doing now, it was it was different from what everyone else was doing. That would be my one big piece of advice for young writers is find something unique, find your own unique voice, and just ignore trends, ignore what everyone else is doing. Find your thing, you know?
Yeah, so, how do you feel like what your thing is? Like, is it just Australia? Like, what did you feel like drilled down and made the everlasting, like, your thing, essentially?
I think my thing is white trash Australia, if you want to put it like that.
Nice.
Um, I think is that Maloo or whatever you want to call it that I've grown up in and lived in all my life. Because, like, people like Jack and me are outside the mainstream publishing here in Australia.
Right.
I don't know if anyone's explained this to you when you talk to Jack or whatever, but like the mainstream publishing in Australia is all completely leftist posed. It's all diversity novels and this sort of shit, you know. Middle class white women writing about fucking indigenous climate change and all this shit. So it's terrible. It's really terrible. But so guys like me and Jack are just doing our thing that no one else is doing, and because of that, we stand out more, um, which hopefully will lead to loads of money at some point.
Yeah.
but yeah, like writing about people that no one else is writing about. You know, the small towns, the white trash, the drug addicts, the people in NA meetings and that sort of thing is my thing, I guess. Maybe it'll come into fashion one day and I'll be hugely popular, or maybe not. I don't know, but that's my voice, for better or worse, and I'll pursue it, I guess.
Yeah, when the industry's ready, you'll have like 50 books for them. You just flood the market. Australian white trash core.
Let's go.
Yes, that's a genre. That should be a genre.
It really should. Yeah,
Yeah.
I it sounds like, yeah, there's a severe lack of just telling like authentic, just human stories, I guess. It's just about propaganda.
It really is. Yeah, it's fucking terrible. We're all guys like me and Jack are shut out of the mainstream. We can't get in, so hence the importance of networks like this and making connections and getting the word out. But I think in the long run we'll win because our voices are unique and we're doing something that is passionate and people can pick up on that passion. I think that's why people read, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be
Yeah.
touched.
And I think I started off this podcast sounded like spooky, like, oh, our political differences, but like you're just bringing it back to like normalcy, right? In the sense that you have a lot of like normal, I guess one could say leftist views, but like this is something I've been thinking about a lot, where it's like, how like because from where I stand in America, okay, sorry, not a Trump fan anymore, okay, Iran war not good. But so it's just like, how do we get the right and the left together? Because talking to some of my leftist friends, it's like, they think that their party sucks. I think my party sucks. Like, how do we come together to like do something that's actually fucking normal? So it it's interesting to see where we can find common ground and stuff like that. As opposed to what the fuck is going on in politics.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think preaching in your writing is a very good idea. I'm shit at it anyway. Um, but I think if you bringing it back to like working class and families and real life, there's probably more that we agree on than disagree in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. Yeah, maybe that is the path forward. I'm not sure. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not really a competent political theorist or anything.
Yeah, I would say so. Like it is built a lot more on, again, like the the realness of your story, right? Like the authenticity of living life, not necessarily, even though there are some stories that like there was the one about the I guess in Australia it's like the Liberal Party, and you were kind of playing between the two different parties in Australia. Like that seems political, but at the end of the day, it's part of your lived story of how you grow up, and like the I guess politics of family is one could say, but I
Yeah,
wouldn't necessarily it's political.
yeah. That story came about because I met my local MP for state parliament, and
Yeah.
I just thought you are deeply an unimpressive person. I don't know what it's probably similar in America, but the Conservative Party, what we call the Liberal Party, it's kind of a dumping ground for the idiot sons of rich men.
Yeah,
Like
probably.
it's not the cream. They're not sending their best. It's and because where I live is a rural electorate, uh, they always vote the Conservative thing, and it's just this useless lump who sits there on a chair and collects a salary. And I just and then I've met people from like the other side, that the leftist progressive side, and they are not impressive either. And they're just really the dregs of the middle class, but hyper ambitious. Like people who should be like a paper shuffler in an insurance company, but they dream of being the next Churchill or something. And
Yeah,
it's I just think really this is who's running things. It's
we're
it's
fucked.
really rather
We're just fucked. That's it.
I mean, yeah, it's probably similar in America.
Yeah.
I think it tends to be a universal thing in democracies. The dregs. Gore Vidal once said that the in a democracy, the real money, the real fame, the real power is not in the government; it's in the private sector. So that's where all the brains go. All the smart people trying to be like the next Elon Musk or whatever, and politics is just for the dregs. I think there's something in that, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of it is controlled by like the money. Well, as you said, like with the whole Palantir thing, and everybody's just trying to like make money all the time, and it's just like, bro, maybe we shouldn't just like not care. But I don't know. I mean, I say that, but then like we're going to war with some country, and it's like, oh yeah, gas prices are going up. That's really cool, but maybe that helps the rich class somehow. I don't know. There's probably some. It all funnels back up. I don't
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah, you are.
yeah,
You're definitely right about America. Basically, like at least like a lot of our state reps and unlike the on the small town level, like a lot of these people are just total fucking morons. And I did I was doing door to door shit actually for the last election.
let's
And
go.
yeah, I don't think I've ever talked about this, but yeah, I was actually like pounding on people's door and like telling them to vote Trump. and uh and then I there was this like big dinner where like all of us door to door people got to like actually meet like our state rep or whoever the fuck he was, and I was just totally unimpressed and was like, oh fuck. I was like, this sucks. I felt like I've been doing all this work for like this guy instead, and I was like, well, what am I doing here? So that I probably won't ever be doing that again, but I thought it was like important at the time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so funny to think back into like 2016 when things were like so bright, and then like coming back now, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna vote anymore. I think I'm done.
I think I'm done voting.
Yeah.
2016 was a real moment, wasn't it? It was just like, oh, 4chan took over the presidency, and
Yeah.
then
Right.
and now you.
No, actually, we just tweet on the internet. There's
Slowly just getting raped in the ass, but
yeah.
yeah, whatever.
The subverted subversions to politics. This is what you come here now. Getting back to the everlasting.
We're holding down the fort over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, okay. I guess I'm curious how you got hooked up with Truth Serum Press, because they released all 3 of your books, right?
Yeah. Jack Norman hates me telling this story because I've told it too many times. But
We got to hear it. We need to hear
it. Yeah.
We don't care,
sorry,
Jack.
Jack, in advance. So this is about 2018. I was sending out things, trying to find publishers. And in Australia, most of the publishers are in Melbourne. And Melbourne is kind of like the San Francisco of Australia, I guess. New York of Australia. It's full of those people. And the publishing industry is run by those people. And first one, I had a run of 3 rejections. One said, straight up, we're not interested in straight white male perspectives. Okay.
Of course.
Second one suggested I should write about more diverse characters. Okay. Third one was actually quite interesting. I thought it was going to go somewhere. And then they asked what nation I was from, and I was confused. I was like, I'm Australian. What do you mean? And they said, oh, what Indigenous nation? And I said, oh, no, I think you've misunderstood me. I'm a white guy. And they just cold stopped replying to emails, never heard from them again. And so that is the publishing industry in Australia. And eventually I found Truth Serum Press, which is really, it's basically one guy operating out of his spare room with the miracle of print-on-demand technology. But we've developed a good relationship and it works, so I'll stick with it for the time being.
That's so
Does he-
interesting because reading the everlasting, like did they read the manuscript? Because you have like a lesbian relationship, like wouldn't that be up their alley? And
Oh well, this was the first book, Last Free
okay.
Man, but still, I mean, there was nothing political, nothing really racist or anything in it. It's
Yeah.
just that they don't want straight white guys writing stories.
They
That's
didn't
what
read
it comes
it. They just don't give a fuck.
down to. And they said so, point blank.
Shit, bro.
It could be about 2 black dudes kissing, and they do not care as long as it's a white guy writing it.
I know. That's why I love what that fellow with the Echolalia review did. I kind of think I should do that, attempt that here in Australia, and just, you know,
Yeah,
uh,
definitely.
Hell yeah.
definitely.
Aaron Berry. Yeah, this shit's dope.
Yeah.
Yes. My name is now Ndungawe Mubutu. I'm an Ugandan trans woman.
Yeah.
You will publish my 1,000-page novel about climate change.
I mean, that's the way, right? Like, I was talking about this a little bit back in, it was just yesterday in the Tukey's Discord, and we were all like, "Yo, but what if we just turn trans though to like get away with this shit?" We're just like, "Okay, just submit as a trans person, and like you can't say I'm not."
Yeah.
And then like if you're trans, like you at least in America, I don't think you can join the military if you're trans. So like you don't have to go to war either. It's like a double plus.
Yeah, we can dodge the draft.
This is the new meta.
Dude, we
You
can
got to
get
take this
pussy
into account.
finally. We can finally get pussy. We'll avoid the draft. All you gotta do is go trans.
Because then we're like, because then it's a lesbian relationship. It's like it's all good now. You know, you're not. There's all bonuses.
We're actually disabled non-binaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically reactionary just to be writing about like your life because
Yeah.
they don't want to hear about it.
Really don't. No, no. Just if like if you could write a novel about just like two people in a marriage and how that goes, and no one will publish it because they want indigenous stories, they want migrant stories, they want climate change, they want, that's all they want, and that's all that gets pushed, and most of it's garbage, quite frankly. And
Yeah.
my hope
It's
is that one day people like me and Jack Norman will, break through and will be big, and then these clowns will look like the people that rejected the Beatles, But I
I
live in hope.
it's
Yeah.
interesting because I think we talked a bit before. Like it's all about like, do you think this is like all monetary? Like, in because if their stuff is trash, like it wouldn't make money, right? Like I don't know. Like what are
Well,
these people thinking?
a lot of the Australian publishing industry and arts in general is funded by taxpayers. There's
Right.
grants and things, and so a lot of these publishers and these, a lot of theatre, a lot of cinema, a lot of all this stuff actually makes no money. Actually makes a loss, but it's propped up by the taxpayer. So I mean, if we had some sort of right wing government get in and they cut all that taxpayer funding, these people would have to publish stuff that sells or go broke. Um, but I'm not sure I see that happening anytime soon. So it's sort of we are shut out of, people like me and Jack Norman are shut out of the mainstream. They won't review our books in like the approved outlets, the prestigious things. So we're sort of, it really is David and Goliath. But I mean, you just got to do the best you can, I guess. I don't have a solution for this.
Yeah. I mean, you'll probably have a lot more longevity than. I mean, you've been around probably a lot longer than. I don't know, a lot of the people that they hire that just fucking suck. So it's like even in main publishing, you hear like, oh, we only sold like 12 books. You probably sold more. Oh well, yeah, you probably sold more than 12 books, Lewis. And it's just like, fucking people like, oh yeah, I was on, I don't know, Penguin, and they just released the stats, and you're like, oh yeah, nobody reads. That's unfortunate. You know.
No, nobody reads that stuff. That's the thing,
Yeah.
and the people who are praising it are getting free copies for reviews. So there's no money being made. So I question how long it can last, especially if the taxpayer funding gets cut at some point. Which, given the state of the shitty economy, and it might happen. You never know. So I don't know.
We're
And then
hoping
it's
for
just
the we're hoping for them all to go homeless and turn into heroin junkies. That's my editor that rejected me turned into a junkie. That's my final revenge.
um how was um how like edited was the manuscript like before you sent it off to him? Maybe I should phrase that differently. I guess like what was the editing process between you and the guy who runs Truth Serum?
So I sort of just punch it out um, over a series of Sunday afternoons, and then when I've got a collection, I send it off to him, and he reads and change this, change that, change this, and so it goes back and forth between him and me about 3 times, sometimes 4. But it's not super strenuous. It's just chipping away at it, tidying it up, and getting there. Um, I tend to simmer a lot with my stuff. It sort of bubbles away in the back of my brain for a couple weeks, and then I sort of punch it out. Sometimes in a single Sunday afternoon or a couple of Sunday afternoons, and it's basically in the form that you finally read it in. It's really the editing process between me and my publisher is really just tidying it up, essentially.
So you think you value the notes he gives you?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay, not to like put you on the spot, but I just find that kind of I just find that very interesting. Like having to work with another person to try and like get your art to a certain place where it feels the most right, in
yeah.
in the most correct. Um, so what's your process then? Like you were kind of saying, so you try to write on Sunday afternoons, and you can crush an entire story in a Sunday afternoon.
Sometimes, yeah, some of the shorter ones. Just trying to think of one of the ones in the book that brothers, cousins, and nieces. That one came out in a single afternoon.
Oh.
Yeah, so yeah, and basically I just sort of I've got a little room and a desk, and I play my music and drink a cup of tea and get to it. Really, um, it's not much more complicated than that. It does, but it has sort of bubbled away in the back of my brain for weeks beforehand. So there's a lot of thinking about how I'd make it work and thinking about the characters, and then I sit down and it flows. But that sort of bubbling, simmering process happens first.
So you usually don't just go starting with a blank page and just trying to see what comes to you naturally. You try to mull it over before you get to that part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There is several weeks of thinking about it, and then Sunday afternoon, punch it out. Yeah.
Simple living, it gets the vibes in. Yeah, because I don't know, like maybe people sometimes overcomplicate their process and have like a million outlines or something, but sometimes it's just gotta flow from the mind, which is actually pretty impressive. Actually, do you outline, or is it just like kind of straight from the dome?
On paper, but I have sort of up here how it would go. I usually have like a couple key scenes, um, and they're not connected, so they're sort of like I guess blots on paper, like
Mhm.
a Rorschach blots, right? And they're not connected, but I know roughly how it's going to work, and then I sit down and I make them work together. Yeah, so yeah, which probably sounds really autistic, but anyway,
No,
Well,
I do the same thing. I know that I have like certain scenes, and they're like anchors almost. They're like anchor points spread throughout, and I know like, okay, this one should probably happen here, this should probably happen here, and this should probably happen here. And just from doing that, I kind of know, oh, well, how do we get from this anchor point to this anchor point? Well, we should probably see this, and then we should probably see some of this and this. So I totally relate to that. I feel like that's a because like sometimes inspiration just comes to you in like a seed, or just like like just like a single image or a single scene or something like that.
yeah,
What was
and then you
the
build the story around it or something. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yep.
I,
Did you
I
have one in particular? I'm sorry, King, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, no, go on, Jesse. You got a question. Go on.
I was just curious if what was like the main uh seed or story, or just like the main impetus that drove this collection. Like was there like a certain image in your head that you're like, okay, this is what the next book is kind of gonna feel like or be like. I gotta reach like this sort of scene or this sort of image.
Well, I knew I wanted to tackle the Jehovah's Witness thing, and I wanted to do a big, longer story, womb to tomb sort of thing of the life. And I started about three times and couldn't make it work, and I spent some time thinking about it, and it was coincidence. I saw an ad on TV for one of those prepaid funeral services, and my mind just wandered, and I thought, yeah, I should probably do that just in case. And then this is the autism. I was like, what, because I'm not religious. So what music or poem or something would I have at my own funeral? And I started basically working out a mixtape for my own funeral, and I thought about that Bukowski poem, the Laughing Heart, which I've always liked, and I had this mental image of my daughter, who's only about 7 now, but I thought of her as a grown woman reading that poem at my funeral. I thought that's it, and it just clicked, and that whole story, The Everlasting, came out in about 2 Sunday afternoons, and there it was. And from there, sort of the rest of the book was built around that. So yeah.
I think I heard from the book from Club from Hell interview. You said that the Everlasting is based
Mm.
off of Manic Street Preachers. The Everlasting. Is that?
Yeah, that
Oh
song, yeah,
yeah.
which I always thought would be a good funeral song, but that's just my taste.
That was cool. I haven't
Yeah,
actually
it
listened to a
definitely
lot of
feels like
Manic Street
the
Preachers.
sorry, what were you thinking?
I was just gonna say I haven't listened to a lot of Manic Street Preachers, but from what I've heard, they're pretty dope. So plus one on that.
Cool.
Yeah, I need actually there was a few band references that I wrote down that I need to go check out when I can. um I definitely can see what you were saying there about it kind of evolving from that story because that one is it feels all encompassing in all of these themes, and then the other stories you kind of like hone in on like the very specific ones and make them like like a thematic telling of just this one idea or something, whereas that is like the everlasting is just this smorgasbord of all of these elements going on. um Man, so that one I'm pretty sure pushes past 40 pages, or I mean, I think there's that one and the Viva Adelaide one either push
Yeah.
past 40 pages or come very close to 40 pages. Um was that was that of any like did you have any like concerns about that? Did you feel like maybe I need to cut this down, or even maybe do I expand this and make into its own separate thing, like a novella or something? Or did you feel like, no, I'm comfortable with the book have the short story collection having these two very big pieces in there?
I've gradually been moving towards longer stuff, especially when it comes to sort of the more weightier topics, I guess. I think the Everlasting is like 12K words or something, 12,000 words, something like that.
Mhm.
So getting towards novella territory, yes. The collection was actually originally going to be much bigger, but my publisher cut a bunch, some of which I'm slightly annoyed about. Most of which, actually, the better ones he cut have ended up in Minimag. I
Let's
treat
go.
Minimag like my own personal slops bucket. But that's all good. I love Minimag. But yeah, I think I am leaning towards longer stuff, just the topics I want to get at, and it just lends itself to longer stuff, I guess. So I think probably the next collection might just be a couple novellas, maybe, or something, or a novella on its own. I'm not sure. I'm working on a few things at the minute, but we'll see how we go.
Okay.
Did did the other collections have stories that pushed that word count and that page limit, or was this the first time you were starting to really dip into that territory?
No, I think the longest ones, I think the last three man, the longest one is about 8 or 9 thousand words. And Remembering the Dead is mostly shorter ones too.
Okay.
So yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm starting to get towards longer word counts. Yeah, it does seem to be a trend.
Let's go. We're working our way up to the full, encyclopedic novel.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
Eventually. we're gonna get a door stopper out of you soon.
Yeah,
Like,
eventually, yeah, probably.
do you ever think that you'd ever return to like doing the George R. Martin thing and like making like an epic fantasy Lewis Woolston doorstopper? Or
I, I don't have the knack for fantasy and sci-fi. I've
okay,
accepted that. Just the idea of inventing, a Westeros or a Middle Earth or something. I just don't seem to have the knack. So I've accepted the, I don't know, parameters of my abilities, I guess.
okay, well, that's so we're just gonna stay buried forever. It's okay. We'll forget
I think
about it.
Jack said he had the same issue, right? In that one when he was talking about Prince of Sidon, Jack Jack said that he tried to write a sci-fi, no, not a sci-fi, he tried to write a fantasy novel too. He's like, fuck, I can't do this anymore.
Maybe it's an Australian thing. I don't know. I
That's,
don't
that's
know.
what I was getting at, basically. Yeah, the Aussies,
No,
Australian.
I mean we haven't read it yet, but didn't the guy from book club from I forget his name, but he wrote Tower, right? Isn't that kind of fantasy or
Yeah, Jack. Yeah. I still haven't read that, but yes, I believe it is quite sort of Kafkaesque sci-fi, I
yeah?
think. Um, I,
Oh,
So there's
yeah,
one.
I've heard
okay.
it's very
I
good.
didn't know what that was about.
It's got a wild cover. It looks cool, and we'll probably get to it
Mm.
one of these days. But we have to
Yeah,
do
we'll
the
have
heavy
to.
lifting first, you know.
Yeah, yeah. We had to get our priorities straight.
Yeah.
22 episodes. Sorry, Lewis. You're here now. That's what matters. Okay, so you've got another collection in the works, or you have yet to start it?
I have two sort of novella length things. Working on a third, so maybe when I've got three, I might show them to my publisher and see what he thinks, and we'll see how we go. But yeah, I'm definitely aiming towards longer pieces. So yeah,
I
So you're
like it.
kind of juggling that right now? You're kind of juggling, like, do I just release them separately or just combine them into another collection?
well, thematically, they're all sort of um, about young men struggling. So I was
Based.
thinking to maybe do a collection with something like that in the title, like young men's struggle, young men's burden, the burdens of young men, or something. I don't know. I've got to think of a title. Um,
The
but
burdening.
burden, burden matching.
Yeah. We,
I don't know, but something that general vibe, just young men struggling. Um, yeah, so we'll see
yeah,
when
no.
I have at least a trio. We'll go from there.
We need to go like ultra meta, and like the next book is like a young man trying to like submit fiction, but his editors keep rejecting it, and it's like in one massive struggle to get his book published. You know?
Like a Ignatius Riley kind of character, but
Yeah.
fucking against the Melbourne literary establishment, and they say too white and straight, can't publish you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just
Uh,
antagonize your publisher and make it about your relationship with him. He's like, this guy's published 3 of my books before, but now he's being a dick.
Yeah.
yeah,
And you,
yeah. I'll have like some ultra-based young white guy and going up against the blue-haired women of Melbourne, trying to get published.
just
That's
like
a
running around their offices graffitiing them. Hey, you do some badass shit. You know? If I
Yeah, like
if
Nutcracker, that'll be a scene around a pride parade.
yeah, like if I can't get published in real life, I'll just get published in my fiction fantasy. Yeah. So that'd be dope.
or maybe like a sort of a Romeo and Juliet type of thing, and the based young white wannabe writer and the blue-haired young woman from the
Yeah.
publishing company fall in love, but she still won't publish it but they're in love and it has to remain secret. And there you go. That's like Romeo and Juliet. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like romantasy is big right now, right? So you just
Yeah.
make him a werewolf or something. I don't.
Or she'll have like a degradation kink and wants to be like fucking
Dude, I was literally
housewife.
just about to say that. She
And
likes race
then she
play.
goes, yeah. So she spends the night with him getting degraded and all submissive and shit, and then goes in the morning to her publishing office with all the girl power blue haired girls. And that's the tension right there.
Yeah. He's like, you can call me the N-word while you're fucking me, but I will not publish your book.
That's it. That's a novel right there. I better take notes.
Yeah, yeah. Someone's got to write it. um, I love I like your covers quite a bit. Without
Yeah.
reading the other two, I'll just I'll just say that I like I like the photography, and I thought this one in particular, excuse me, did a very good job of kind of like telling you from like an emotional place, almost like thematically where it was going. This overcast sky over this image of this ramshackle church. It definitely communicates quite a bit and feels completely aligned with a lot of the stories that you're talking about. Um, did you take these pictures? Was how I guess like how much consideration was put into them and all that stuff.
All right. Well, because my publisher's very small, we have almost no budget. So yeah, I did take these pictures. The everlasting one was literally just taken with my phone. That is the Punindi Uniting Church, which is about 20 k's up the road from where I live. And we have very dramatic skies here on the Eyre Peninsula. So that I just got it on the right day and it looks really good. Um, the picture on Remembering the Dead was from an old photo I took in about 2002 on a disposable film camera. I don't know if you're old enough to remember those.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, and I had that and scanned it and sent it to my publisher, and he said, "Yeah, that'll work." And
hell
the one
yeah.
on The Last Free Man, I think my publisher found that off like Open Google or some shit. Yeah, so yeah, look, we have no budget because we're a tiny publisher, so we just have to make do with the best we can. That's
I'll say the cover's really good. Like it does play into the themes because I think like it's the everlasting is like it deals with a lot of the I forget what you're a part of the it's not the Jesuits the what
The
judgments.
yeah
Jehovah's.
Jehovah's that's right yeah and it plays into those themes. I thought that was really good and I mean you post a lot of photos and like the two keys to score and all your shots are good man like it's really good. So I thought the cover was great personally.
Yeah, it's worked out. It presents well. It looks like a proper book, even though we are just a tiny publisher, literally one guy operating out of his spare room. It, I mean, there are copies in public libraries. It's a legit book, and it
Do
looks
Yeah,
like
it
a
looks
legit.
professional.
do you have any like cinematographic influences like well, I don't know like photographers you look to or are you just like clipping around just taking photos yourself it's kind of
Just yeah, just me fucking about with a phone camera. Really,
okay.
nothing too complicated.
Yeah, because the Woolston posting um is so great. It's like it's just nothing but beaches and sunsets.
I like those things, like fucking.
Yeah, you're bringing the Aussie existentialism to the States, definitely.
Yeah. You can sit on those beaches and think about life, and that's yeah. And from there, write books.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'll start doing. I'll just look at those pictures and start philosophizing and
Yeah.
write the next Aussie epic.
Actually, that makes me think. I don't know if this has ever been asked. Like, why writing? Like, why did you start to choose writing versus like going into I don't know like movies or something, or music?
I tried going into music when I was young,
Okay.
when I moved to the city. Unfortunately, I have no musical talent, and the drugs took over. Y-
Okay.
You're supposed to get rich and famous first, and then do drugs. It's not. It doesn't work the other way
Right.
around. Pro
You got to
tip
do
there,
one before the other.
kid. But why writing? Well, I hit my 30s and got depressed. Is really the why I started writing. I'm not particularly good at anything else. Cinematography and all that, like making films, all that requires money. Writing, all you really need is a laptop and an internet connection, and you can just start. So there's that, yeah, I guess. And I've always been a big reader, and it just seemed a natural flow on, I guess.
All right.
Is that Kurt Cobain eulogy basically, and like his was that based on reality?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so the best thing you've ever written, no one will get to read.
Um, Probably, yeah. Uh, yeah. I wonder if that teacher still has that somewhere. I do not know.
I really loved that section. Man, yeah, that really made me think a lot about I had never had a crash out like that with any of my teachers where I literally told them to fuck off. But I did have, really meaningful relationships with a couple teachers who definitely like just like showed me like the potential and the beauty of art and creativity and to like hone my writing and all that stuff. And yeah, I thought that was very moving. Yeah, I'm assuming that whole bit was based on reality.
Exaggerated a little bit, but yeah, basically real. Yeah.
Hmm.
The school system, the public school system when I went through it here was actually really shit. Public school teachers had a really effective union, and they were tied in with the state government, and it was one of those jobs you could get in, and so long as you didn't actually bash or molest a student, you couldn't be sacked. So we had a lot of useless fucking people teaching kids. We had a couple teachers who were alcoholics and used to come in with the shakes, the horrors in the morning.
Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah. The school I went to was an absolute loser factory. Um, so, the one or two teachers who were really good and really tried to reach you really stood out. So, hence why she gets a story now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
was there really only one teacher, or and everybody else was pretty much dog shit?
There were maybe two, three, but yeah, most were crap.
Okay.
Most were just serving their time, building up their pension, not giving a shit. Yeah,
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of something that's always stuck with me, which was like I think I might have been in like 10th grade or something, and we had this one total hag bitch who was just like trying to make us do some sort of like career thing. Like we're all like in the computer lab and we all got to like fill out some bullshit, right? And it pertains to like you trying to figure out like realistically what kind of job you're going to get after high school or like what you want in the future kind of thing.
yeah,
And we had some like really stubborn passionate kids who it's like okay, obviously you just go along, you just do the assignment, but I remember this one kid, he did not want to fill out the assignment because he's like, well, I'm going to be a rapper. And it's obviously like that kid didn't become a fucking rapper, like he's not like a famous rapper that we all know, but he had the gumption and the passion to be like, no, I'm not going to be just like some fucking guy, like I'm going to be a rapper. And she was just like, no, you're not. Like she just like you know she could not be bothered to like encourage this kid whatsoever to chase whatever ambition he had in him, like, and he was clearly like a passionate person, but that like wasn't in her job description, to be an encouraging person. So she's just like, no, you're not going to be a rapper, you're not going to do it, and you have to do this assignment. And he's like, fuck that. Like, who are you to tell me? And there's obviously a bit of that, that youth, that naivety to it or whatever, that gumption. But, it is funny how many people just get that job and they don't, they don't foster creativity at all. They just snuff it out.
I wonder if that, the song from 8 Mile, that Lose Yourself, was playing in that kid's head. Well,
It totally was.
it's us.
There's no
He's
doubt
Luke,
about
spaghetti, Mom spaghetti. Yeah.
it.
Good on him,
Oh my God. Yeah, yeah. And my school produced a lot of those kids.
Yeah, maybe those teachers were saving us from their cringe raps. Maybe they were actually trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, honestly, she was doing us a service. She was actually, no, she had every right to snuff that out. She's like, no, you kids are not going to want to hear this. It's be bad.
Yeah, well, it was this in the when I was at high school in the 90s. There was obviously the alternative rock thing was huge, and there used to be this TV show in Australia called Recovery that was on a Saturday morning, and it would have live bands, like American bands that were touring or British bands that were touring Australia, but also all the Australian like alternative rock bands. And I'd look at these guys and go, they are just scruffy white boys with guitars. I'm a scruffy white boy with a guitar. How hard can it fucking be? And obviously it is a lot harder than that, as I found out. But all the teachers had to offer us was, "Oh, get a steady job, get a trade." We're always going to need bricklayers. We're always going to need plumbers. It's a steady trade. And I just think, is that really the best you can do? But in some cases, it was. I mean, and to be honest, most of the kids I went to high school with, even that was probably aiming a bit high.
I mean, if in a weird way, even though they probably weren't thinking about it at the time, like now that AI is here, it's kind of like, yeah, maybe, maybe you should be bricklaying forever because like AI is gonna take your fucking, I don't know, drawing job or some shit. So
And
it's the bell curve image where like you have the teacher who's telling you like you shouldn't be a rock artist, and then like the smart person at the other end saying AI is gonna take your rock artist job. And all the midwits in between believing they could be rock stars.
but yeah, and the amazing thing is like, so I finished high school in '97 and never saw any of those kids again. And then 10 years later or so, Facebook gets invented, and I find out what everyone's been up to. And now that I've had 3 books published, I am by far the most successful person to come out of that fucking high school, which is a turn up, I tell you. Like,
That's crazy.
it's fucking crazy. The amount of people that are dead or in prison from my high school or just never left that shitty town. I feel pretty good about life. I think that's actually probably the point of Facebook, really, is to look at everyone you went to high school with fail and feel good about yourself. I think it serves no other purpose.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah, you're using it wrong if you're coveting vacation photos. You really need to be you really need to be examining your dead friends and being like, that's, hey, we're we're in a much better place than that.
The next Lewis Woolston collection, I'm better than you.
You're Dead and I'm Not by Lewis Woolston.
Read this while you were in prison, dickhead. That kind of...
And other stories.
I did. I did send an email to the public library in Geraldton where I grew up, saying, blah, blah, blah. I used to grow up. I used to be a regular borrower of your library, and now I'm published. Please buy a couple of my books. And they actually bought one. So there you
So
go.
some kid out there is getting Lewis pilled.
Yes.
Do you go to like bookstores and like try to like get them to stock your book?
I did. Well, I live in a little country town, so we don't really have much here. But um, one guy who's on Substack worked at a bookstore in Sydney and got my books in. And I have like sent emails to public libraries of various places I've lived saying, blah, blah, blah. I used to live in your town and be regular at your library. Please buy my books. And one or two have. So I'll take it. I'll take every reader I can get. It's everyone that reads one of my books is a win, I think. So if it happens, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to know that they're supporting local writers. That's dope, So, unlike editors who are dickheads.
Yeah, here it's like yeah, with libraries for the most part around here, if you just like ask them to buy a book and have it in stock or whatever, they'll do it for the most part. Yeah,
Have
yeah,
you
I
tried to
haven't
get a
done that
book?
with any of my
Oh, okay, I was gonna ask. Because, like, with my
I
book, I'd have to, like, wear a balaclava and just, like, shove my books in, like, the return form and they just have them. There's no way I can, like, walk up to them. Oh, yeah, just buy this, bro. Just buy this for your public library.
Yeah, it'd be an act of terrorism to put it in a
Yeah.
little free library.
I can tell you a funny story. About some of our guys' books. And so here in my town, we have a little secondhand bookshop, and it's like run by the local Rotary Club. It's like a charity thing, and it's run by all these old ladies, which is
Yeah.
what you expect for a secondhand bookshop.
Mhm.
And sometimes when I build up too many books in the place, I take a pile down there and donate them. And I did that a little while back, and it was had a couple of books from like our guys, Ivan Nikolai, and who was the other one? There was a couple others, and the old ladies didn't see me dump them off, but they so I went browsing amongst the shelves, and the old ladies started going through the pile, and they were looking at Ivan Nikolai's book, going, "What is this? Is this some sort of self help thing?" And they got actually quite upset about it. So Ivan Nikolai has upset the old ladies of Port Lincoln. So that's an achievement, I guess.
You just hear them crashing out in the background.
I think they were actually quite disgusted, but anyway.
Yeah, that's amazing. I the way you handled sexuality in your book was very was is very well done. It wasn't overly gratuitous, although I'm a huge sucker for that. That's the way I write, very gratuitously. But I like that it was very is very suggestive, and just the way it was handled was very delicate. Now I'm just complimenting you. Now I'm just saying, yeah, that's great.
It was good.
Yeah.
Well, when I started writing, was about the time that 50 Shades of Grey was really big. And I found a copy that someone had left in a laundromat. And I thought, I've got to read it just to see what the fuss is about. And it's the first and only time I've ever wanted to punch a book. It was fucking terrible. So bad. And so I've always shied away ever since from being very, very explicit about sex because I don't want it to read anything like that,
Hmm.
I'm curious, like, what was so bad about it to you? Like, was it just like all
The
sex, no plot, or
It was
no, I don't
horribly
mind that. That's
written.
fine. No, like the fucking metaphors and things. There's that famous one that she does about the her vagina like a mother hamster about to eat its young or something. The
What?
puckered love cave. That's the phrase she uses. The puckered love cave.
Oh
Like,
shit.
really? Yeah.
Holy shit. Dude,
Yo,
maybe
that.
we should read books and review them for the pod.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Talk about the hamster fucking eating their. Oh, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the puckered love cave like a hamster about to eat its young or something like that. And I just thought,
Ugh.
what the actual fuck?
My pussy is a praying mantis about to cut off the head of a. Like, what the
Conspiracy.
fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead, we get greasy pizza sex. That's how it rolls in the Lewis world. So it's dope.
No, I like there were some really great descriptions of that character. Um do you describe her as like a spider like curling up into her web, and when she's like she I think you described her as like a skinny like a giraffe at some point, the way she's like the way she like cuddles with him in bed, or maybe like he's a giraffe or something. I forget the way it was worded, but I remember that whole section was quite striking in its imagery, and really just like it just nailed it. And there was just so much character in those descriptions too. um Man, I just also like to note that that there is quite a bit of like underlying tension in some of these, because especially in the longer ones, because you cover quite amount of time. It spans a lot of time, and you spend like years with these people, sometimes even decades. And so much uh just over the course of a single sentence, we could just like be completely in the tragedy of someone's life, or so much time has passed. It just created a lot of tension. There'd be moments where you are, feeling joy. Your things are looking up. People are sober. They're they're getting their lives together, and you the entire time as a reader are kind of biting your nails, metaphorically, because you're just waiting, and literally at the turn of a sentence, at the drop of a hat, for you to be like, and then I stopped hanging out with her, and or like, and
Yeah.
then we got back on drugs again, and it's just like there was this constant tension in the way that it spanned time, that you know yeah, something beautiful could easily be disrupted. And um yeah, I just thought that was very commendable, and maybe if you had anything I guess to say about that, or
Um, a lot of what I know about writing short stories, I learnt from reading Somerset Maugham's short stories. I don't know if you've ever read him. He's fantastic.
what was his name? I'm
Um,
sorry.
Somerset Maugham.
Okay.
So I think they're published either by Penguin or Vintage Classics. There's about 4 volumes. It's like 90 to 100 short stories altogether. Fantastic. It's a masterclass of writing short stories. Um, he traveled around a lot in what was back then the British Empire, and he would find odd people in sort of out of the way places. Like he'd find someone running a rubber plantation in colonial Malaya, or working at a timber thing up in upcountry Burma, or on a beach in Samoa, and he just sort of, how did this person end up here? What is the story of their life? What choices did they make? Blah blah blah. And he'd construct a 10-page short story that would make you rethink your life. It's brilliant. I cannot recommend him enough. If you want to learn how to write really great short stories, start by reading Somerset Maugham. Um, so yeah, a big chunk of what I know about that I learned from him, and I have, to a degree, imitated his style a fair bit. So
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like an ethnographer for white trash.
Yeah. Well, it seemed similar because it's, the people who ended up in these, in his stories, the people who ended up out in the backwoods of the empire weren't successful. They weren't the rich and the powerful. They were people that were desperate, people that had fucked up, people that had no better options. So there's more similarities than you might think, you know?
So, I kind of want to talk about religion for a minute.
Let's go.
Okay.
um, because it seems like there are maybe some valuable ideas that stuck with you despite a lot of the abuses or the kind of the darkness that you witnessed. And I feel like the book kind of captures a little bit of both of that, where it's not entirely um demonizing of like religion in general, because uh there's the one story about the old woman who, it's like literally just a couple pages, but she just like walks up the street. Her husband helps walk her up the street to go to service. um and she's basically just reflecting on the idea that that maybe living her life worldly worldly possessions was like a hollow endeavor, maybe, and that where she, that maybe she chose that over some kind of eternal bliss or something.
Yeah, Sunday Mass in Smoky Bay. Yeah. Um, so again, might be a cultural thing that's different. But in Australia, we've become a very materialistic, very selfish society. And especially that older generation, the baby boomers, they are a bunch of cunts. No polite way to say it. The attitude of I've got mine, fuck everyone else, and accumulating property and wealth is all that really matters. And a lot of the little coastal towns in Australia, we call them God's waiting rooms, because the oldies, the baby boomers, the wealthy ones, colonize these little towns and just take them over, and the young people are just shut out of anything. The locals that lived there before are shut out, and the entire town essentially becomes geared up to wipe the ass of baby boomers who have money. Like, and it's really actually a fucking shit situation. And to me, that really disgusts me. That self-centeredness, the centering of wealth as the only real goal in life really does disgust me. So anything that sort of kicks back against that, I'm willing to give sort of. I think it's a good thing, yeah. So like in that case of that story, the woman sort of finding her faith again to sort of, to me, yeah, I'd rather people be Christians than fucking selfish boomer assholes, if that makes sense.
Yo, join the cult again. We can't. You can't be a boomer. Like the boomer is the ultimate cult.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
I personally think Australian boomers are far worse than American boomers.
Oh shit.
Someone should study them. Like
Like
the
our
level of,
school, our boomers go on like I think resort trips. I think so. It's like your ones are like buying real estate. Is that the next level up?
yeah, they're buying real estate. They're accumulating. They're colonizing entire little towns on the seaside, fucking ruining the towns because no one else can do anything. And just, yeah, the real estate thing is a huge thing in the country at the moment. No one under 40 unless they've got rich parents who's owning a home. It's completely out of whack. The day of the pillow must surely come soon.
Yeah. No, I think that's even a thing here in America. Like nobody owns a house. It's just, uh, well, if you're under 40 or whatever, you don't own a house. That's just the way it
Yeah, you're
rolls.
fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, unless you
but
like inherit it.
yeah. So to me, and anything that sort of kicks back against that, whether it's like some sort of religion or just a artistic bohemian ideal, maybe, or just an appreciation of natural life or something, anything that kicks against selfishness and that hoarding of wealth, I'm for it, you know. So and that yeah, that's where that sort of story came from.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely nail, I mean, because the theme that life is very temporary, and that it can feel unfulfilling to devote your life to like the wrong ideas, or I feel like that's just nailed throughout, especially that piece, but throughout the whole book. um Man, I don't know if I have any more notes on the Everlasting. I have other questions, but King, did you have any more notes on the
Um,
Everlasting?
there was a lot of stories. They're like, did we ever talk about even the first one? Like, you'll always remember Fremantle. I mean, there was a lot of stuff in here. Now I'm looking at it. The
Do you
Everlasting.
have a history of going, like, were you in the Navy, or like or like were you in the Army for a stint?
I was briefly in the army, yes.
Okay, so some of those weren't just like a projection of an idea. It was like you could definitely you were actually relating your own experiences.
Yeah. These are common experiences in the Australian military. Yes.
I
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I like that first one where it's all about yeah, it's a great little coming of age story, about losing your virginity and becoming a man and developing your perspective on the world. um
Yeah.
yeah, because
I
like he views that guy at the beginning in a certain way, and then he gets laid, and then he's like, I just want to punch this guy in the face. He's
yeah.
like, actually, this guy sucks.
Yeah. Oh, were you saying something, Lewis? Oh, shit.
Oh, did he freeze up?
I think he froze up.
Life, working at some like mission thing in Bangladesh,
Oh
and
wait,
I was
you froze up for a sec.
oh, did I? Sorry.
No, you're okay.
I'm okay. It's raining here. The weather's terrible, so that might be interfering with things.
Oh, it's okay. It's raining here too. Um, if you could just take it back to the beginning of your response.
Oh yeah. So there was this woman I met in Adelaide years ago. She was involved with a Baptist church, and she had spent like 20 odd years working at this church mission in Bangladesh. And I was fascinated because I didn't think that sort of thing still existed, but apparently it does. And I asked her a lot of questions about it. I was really interested. And she had come from a sort of basic middle class family. Like she had a good education and everything. And she could have had a normal, comfortable upper middle class life. But instead, she chose to go do that for 20 odd years in Bangladesh, which, I shudder to think what the conditions there are like. And just the idea of, again, that idea of sacrifice, not pursuing wealth, not pursuing comfort, pursuing something higher, is that a good thing? And then you contrast it with old mate in the other guy in the navy who's just like, let's go get a drink and a fuck, and that's all there is to life. So I sort of wanted to toy with those ideas, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, that makes makes sense. I'll say like I didn't really have much notes or any more notes, but like I think this is something that you said like white pill media in its criticism was like extremely autistic. Like, bro, like I'm extremely autistic, dude. Like all of my notes were like something was like an example was like I think you wrote in the Everlasting where it's like the police are really hammering to take down like all these pedophiles, and I'm like, but the police don't though. Like there's migrant rape gangs in the UK. This doesn't fit with my it's just like stupid shit. So yeah. It's just funny all my extremely online things are like or like the thing in the Fremantle where it's like, oh, this girl is gonna stop prostituting herself to get a job in biochem, and my mind's like, yeah, so she can ruin it with her like shitty IQ, like she should just stick to OnlyFans. But that's it.
She should stay a
That's
whore.
actually a thing here in Australia. We have legalized brothels and legalized prostitution, so it's not as big a deal. So you do get university students doing it to pay their way through uni, and then they marry some poor sucker later. I don't know, whatever.
That's the way it goes.
You gotta marry somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Ada Rose place is actually a real place. They have a website if you're interested. I'm just putting that out there.
SS Boys live trip to the
Listen, yeah, we got to do it.
to the brothel.
Stream that shit, baby.
That's
how we face Doc's King.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
like,
the first
you
time.
get sucked off at this brothel.
And then I'm gonna be like, no way. Actually, everything about the Everlasting is right. Like, I love it now. Like, completely, wholly. I'm all in. I understand
10 out
now.
of 10.
I'm getting off the internet. I'm never posting about politics ever again. It was too autistic. I'm a real guy now. It's gonna be the future.
Let me see. I'm kind of looking at the book right now.
I mean, you mentioned that like you cried a lot about the Everlasting, right? Like, you haven't really gotten into that.
I guess I guess I could maybe explain that a little bit. Because let me see. I'm looking at. Oh man, dude, yeah, the ending of the Everlasting, the story, not the whole book, but the story. The last few pages, they, just this shared history between these two people is so palpable and so fucking raw, and they've just been through God, I don't even know how to put words to it. They've just been through everything that life could possibly throw in your way. And they still after all these years have this like really beautiful relationship, this beautiful friendship that like can't even be like quantified. It's just so pure because they endured so much together. And then she fucking dies, and he he's there for her. And man, just the way those last few pages flow through her sickness, and him having to come out there and be by her side, and her saying thank you for being my friend. Like, holy fuck, dude. Holy fucking shit. Like, I was just crying, dude. I couldn't help it, man. It was just so beautiful, and yeah, just so emotional. Yeah, I felt very, I was like a raw nerve. Not, I've like blubbered. I wasn't blubbering. I've blubbered before. But I was just crying. I was just straight up, I was just straight up crying. The other one, Heaven Bradfield's Legacy, almost made me cry. It was like the very final like 3 lines were just so emotionally impactful, and just gave me just like a wave of chills. I was like, holy shit, this fucking story nailed it. and then add the Adelaide story. God, yeah, that one just ending on on such a beautiful celebration of just pure happiness and just like accepting what you accepting the things in life that bring you joy and trying to just
Yeah.
surround yourself with it.
I
Yeah, what
mean,
an incredible way to end the book.
even though the Everlasting, I think, is like the title track, you could say, to the Everlasting, obviously. Viva La Adelaide, it does seem to be more of like what the book is about, like encompassing, yeah, actually having made it, right? Like, like you made it through all the struggles, made it through all the pain. It's like, yeah, finally, like shit is good now, you know?
I get my time with my girls watching Disney movies,
Yeah.
Very it's just very pure, and it's just like, yeah, that's the sweetness that life can offer, you know?
Hmm. I'm very pleased that I made you cry. You're about the fifth or sixth person that said that to me, so I'm doing something right, I think.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
the Viva Adelaide one started. So I was working at a seafood processing factory, which is sort of a thing you do here in Port Lincoln, and I wasn't making enough money, so I started working part time as well, a second job at the local KFC. Um, and I was like, I'm in my 40s and I'm working at KFC. What the actual fuck? But this is how life goes sometimes, and sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. So I started doing that, and so I told them when I started there, I don't want to talk to customers. I'm too old and grumpy. Just stick me out the back, and they said that's fine. So I was just the cook basically. I was cooking the chicken, and I found that the back, like obviously you got the pretty girls and the youngins out front, but the back was all old cunts like me. And a lot of people who were sort of starting again at life or things hadn't worked out how they planned. There was one guy fresh out of prison. Um, and after I'd been there a while, the manager told me that, yeah, the interview is really just a formality. Anyone who shows up for the interview on time and sober is hired. And I thought about that and I thought, this is a job you could get fresh out of prison, fresh out of rehab, if you're a bit of a fuck up. And I thought, how many people have started their lives again in a place like this? People that have for one reason or another, life hasn't worked out very well and they need something, and this will do. This is a job that pays money. Fuck it. And I tried to run the numbers in my head. I tried to work out how many fast food joints are in Australia, how many people out the back, how many people work out the back, and I could only, it must be tens of thousands at least, if not hundreds of thousands, of people have started their lives again, sweating over a deep fryer. And so I thought about that, and I thought I wanted to write a slightly more optimistic story, a story about starting again, and life deals you some blows, and you just find a way to get through it. And so that was really the genesis of that story. And I tried to have a little bit more humor in that one and things like that, and sort of, I think it kind of worked in the end. So yeah.
Yeah, that one was that one was really good. I love the line where where she actually ponders what you said, and she goes, yeah, I wonder how many convicts made my cheeseburger, like
It's
like
actually
it like
quite a few. I'm convinced it's quite a few. Yeah, yeah.
right.
Uh,
That actually I had never considered that before, but that was like, yeah, that's actually a pretty great point. It's kind of like a community college in a way. It like attracts like it attracts all these people who are like later in their life and they realize like, oh, I could actually, go back and get some credits and like do something different, with their
Yeah.
life. And um
it's actually
yeah, I
crazy.
thought that was great.
It's crazy thinking too, like, bro, like if you can't keep a job down at like McDonald's, it's just over. You just quit, because it seems like all the regulations just show up on time, you know.
Yeah,
So
on time and sober. That's all you need. Yeah.
you make it.
Yeah, they should have pamphlets for McDonald's at rehab centers.
But fucking may as well, yeah. No, and like maybe we need that as a society. Maybe that's actually an important socio-economic function that we have places that will literally hire anyone.
Yeah,
Because
for
life
sure.
doesn't go to plan for everyone, like
Yeah, definitely more
Yeah,
social nets and shit for
yeah,
like people who don't make it. But I'm sorry, Jesse.
no, I was just gonna say the job, especially around my area, that's doing that, and then I can tell is doing that, is the 7-Elevens near me. They're run by fucking like Pakistanis during the day, but during the overnight, like the midnight shift from like fucking 12 to like 6 or 7 in the morning, like those people, they're all like 40-year-old like washed up people who they look like life has literally kicked them in the dick. They're super weathered by life, and they're the only ones who would possibly sign up to do that job. And it's like, yeah, some of them are either old, or you can tell they are like they're junkies, or something like. Yeah, I went to 7-Eleven. I stopped there at like 6 in the morning before I went to work the other day, and I felt like I was totally dealing with a crackhead the whole time. I was like, holy shit, this bitch. Like they just hired her because they needed someone here.
so you need to go talk to her and get her story, and that right there is a book.
Right, right.
A
It
bitch's
it
story
might
is a
just
book.
right. It might just me being like a stenographizing absolute gibberish, but that could be a book.
Easily.
The ramblings of a homeless junkie. Oh man. Um, I kind of wanted to talk about one of your Substack articles, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
The manifesto for the lo-fi prose movement.
Yes. Yes. I've upset all the right people.
I thought it was kind of tongue in cheek, but also I loved a lot of the sentiments behind it personally.
Yeah.
I actually thought they I thought it was like a good rallying cry in a way. I'd actually like to read just this one part if you
Okay.
don't mind.
Go for it.
Because yeah, you outline like uh five major articles for this manifesto. And the first one being passion over technique. And
Let's go.
you say, it doesn't matter if your grammar is not 100% so long as your heart is bleeding on the page, man. Your writing should make us feel something. Don't worry about form. Just touch my fucking soul with your fucking cock, you motherfucker. And yeah, I have never
Poetry. Right.
like I've just like never completely agreed with something more in my life than
That's a bar. That's a bar. That's a real
yeah,
bar.
it is just like, dude, just like give me a fucking boner, dude. Like just touch me, like nourish me, please. Like I could not give a flying fuck if there is a typo, or or like oh, he misused this comma, or just some gay bullshit. It's just like, no, dude, none of that matters to me at all. It's like, as long as you can feel the magic, if you can feel the fucking juices when you're reading it, that's literally all that matters. So I just wanted to say thank you for your thank you for your little manifesto. I don't know how tongue in cheek it was, or how much of a joke it was, but I loved that sentiment personally.
Well, if it gets me paid and or laid, it was totally serious. If it doesn't, then no, it was just a joke.
Valid. Very valid.
Maybe if it starts a big movement and everything, and I become famous or something and rich, You could put that phrase on my tombstone. Touch my fucking soul with your fucking cock, you motherfucker.
Based.
Definitely
And
one of the hardest things.
all the aspiring lit bros can come and visit my grave and read that and be inspired and whatever.
Yeah, you gotta continue the Australian tradition, you know.
Fucking A. Fucking A.
Yeah, they'll visit your grave like they visit like Poe's grave and shit, and they'll be like, "Yep, those were words to live by, dude." Yep.
Yeah, no, actually, how is like the Aussie scene? Because I know like you met up with Jack Norman, right?
Yeah.
Or
Well, I haven't met him in person, but we chat all the time. Yeah.
okay, it was like I think that's like a thing like in the Tukis where it's like everybody's like the Australians are getting it together, you know. Us Americans are like getting fucked over. We don't know how to fucking organize.
I honestly, I think it is a reaction to how closed off our mainstream literary scene is. We have no hope of getting through. We don't even. It's not even like a dime square group in Australia. Like nothing even on that level. It's just this monolithic purple head fuckwits, diversity novels, all this shit, right? And you straight white men, we're just not getting published, and that's all there is to it.
No.
So we've made our own little scene and done our own little thing outside the mainstream, and it's slowly catching on. I guess people are reading the books. Um,
Yeah, we read it.
there does seem to be more of us. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's coming, yeah. But yeah, it's surprising to see the amount of fiction coming out of Australia compared to. I think like for the other places, like there's mixes of like English or just fiction from different parts of the world. But
Mm.
I didn't expect the Australians to be holding the the flag for the indie Renaissance. But hey, I ain't complaining, so it's all good.
Yeah. Would you consider? Who else? I guess would you consider besides you and Jack? Is there another kind of figure that you feel like is kind of part of the wave in some ways?
Definitely Ivan Nikolai. His book, Like You Have a Choice, that is really good, well worth reading. Um, Liam Blackford. He's mostly just written poetry, but it's worth hunting down. Um, and there's sort of a few others. Um, Jack Jack BC, of course, is got his Tower novel. Hang on, the girls are mucking about. Oh, you too. Girls are around the muck. Never mind, it's Easter. They're all dosed on chocolate. They're off their fucking little heads.
Wholesome dad chunk of shit.
Wholesome dad chuggy shit.
This is our future king.
Yes.
We're gonna get invited to a podcast when we're in our 50s yelling at kids. That's
Yeah, we're gonna be wife guys yelling in the background. What the fuck you doing?
We're gonna be more broke than Lewis though, who's gonna be like he'll be George R. R. Martin levels of rich. He'll have like 20 HBO adaptations, And we're just like
We're gonna be
here now.
We're gonna be Lewis in his heroin chic years.
Yeah, I knew Lewis before he popped off. I was there first.
No, dude, I swear I'm friends with him.
He was on my podcast.
I could tell you a funny story.
Yeah, sure.
When I was working at the KFC, I got recognized like from 4chan.
Yo, no way.
How
True
the
story.
fuck?
True story. This autistic kid,
Of course.
of course, this autistic kid from the local high school, his mum hassled him to get a job at KFC so that he would, quote, meet a nice girl, right?
At the
Instead,
KFC.
he met me, and this was about the time me and I was shitposting my book a lot. Gardner was shitposting his book, And he met me, and he comes up and goes to high five, and he goes, "Gardener fags, blown the fuck out." and, and and I got the story from Adam. He'd been following the whole bullshit on 4chan on the lit board and knew who I was. And yeah, so I have been recognised in real life by
Let's
an
go,
autistic kid at KFC.
bro. Imagine your mom sending you to a KFC to like find a chick. It's like, actually, I got groomed by an author on 4chan.
That actually happened. Yeah.
Oh my god. Are your KFCs full of black people or no?
No, well,
No. No.
not really. No, we don't have many in the town where I live, so it's mostly pretty white. So
There would
Don't. All of
be
our chicken establishments are black.
okay.
wouldn't they be Aborigine? Isn't that the thing in Australia? No.
yeah, we have
Yeah.
Aboriginals. Yeah, we have
Oh,
a few
right,
of them.
right. Got a couple. So, what was your experience? You were advertising on 4chan, right?
Shit posting / advertising. Yeah, it's the same
Okay.
thing, really. You know?
So how successful do you think that was? I mean, you were recognized, so I mean, it helped a little bit. But did you see any kind of significant like boost in sales because of that?
A tiny bit, maybe. Yeah, not much, but
Okay.
a little bit. Yeah,
It's mostly just for fun then and getting to know everybody.
yeah, and to piss off Gardner, you know, whatever. Like,
So it works.
but the way he did it was just hilarious. Like, I'm at the fucking breading table sorting out the chicken, and he just comes up with a big high five. Gardner fags, blown the fuck out. Like,
Oh man.
a moment for the ages.
Do you still post on Lit, or is it just like that was a moment for the time and you're
Fucking
just like,
banned, bro. I'm perma
what?
banned.
What?
Perma
Wait,
banned
For what?
because I kept shit posting my own book.
Isn't that what 4chan is for? Posting books or never? You know what? That it
What I
doesn't even
said.
make sense.
That's what I said. Like, but yeah,
No, we
Only
just
the
have to
right.
talk about fucking, I don't know, like Hemingway, whatever those guys over at Lit talk about. They're always talking about some stupid ass, like,
Moby Dick and Blood Meridian. I
yeah,
almost said
for like the
blood.
yeah, over and
90th
over.
time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was also a great little article you wrote for Substack where you just like stop fucking reading Blood Meridian.
True.
Oh, get up. Just move. It's a good book, but move on. There are other good books, better books even. But just branch out a little is all I'm saying.
Yeah, you
You know?
described it as like intellectual incest, and I completely agree.
Yes.
That's true, dude. Like I rail on like Lord of the Rings a lot, but like Blood Meridian is on that tier, dude. There's so many guys who just talk about Blood Meridian, like, and it's just like, just shut up, dude. Like, I don't want to hear about this shit anymore.
He's got like
Yeah.
20 other books too, so it's like, why?
Yeah.
And like you know, I say like, oh, you know, I'm inspired by Somerset Maugham. No cunts read him. Like,
Yeah.
you know, branch out, people. Branch out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, thinking about, yeah, it's just there's a lot of conformity in terms of like Lit. I guess any scene has like maximum amounts of conformity, right? And it's always fighting against
Yeah.
that type of shit. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. But we're coming up
Lewis.
on, yeah. Oh, sorry. Go on, Jesse.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, you're not an X, right?
No, no.
Is that a deliberate? You just don't like Twitter, or?
It just seemed to be all fucking arguing about politics and shit, and I just cannot be bothered. Culture war bullshit.
Yeah.
That's fair. It is what it mostly is, actually. So
Yeah.
you're not fully off base.
That's all I do, bro. Is just like retweet about like random ass stuff that happens on the stuff. Like it was weird because I think I've talked about this before. But, like, you'd think that I would just post hot girls all day, but it's like, no, actually, I guess I'm just too autistic for this shit, man. That's just full of autists. It's better that you're not all there.
I'm very active on Goodreads if people want to follow me there if they're interested, or Substack. But yeah,
Oh yeah, funny enough, my like my childhood best friend, going to his wedding next month, all that shit. He randomly comes up to me. He's just like, "Do you know who Lewis Woolston is?" And I'm like, yeah. Why? He's like, he just followed me on Goodreads or something like that. I'm like, no shit. So yeah, that's so funny. I'm like, man, yeah, he's like a writer. He's like in my scene. I gotta know him. Blah 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 blah. So now I'll have to tell him like, oh yeah, now you have an excuse to listen to my podcast. I I talked to the guy who friended you or something.
very good.
Yep, small world shit.
It is.
But I think that's like all the main questions and thoughts I kind of had. What about you, King?
Yeah, I mean, we're coming up on 2 hours. I mean, I don't
Jesus.
know. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, Lewis, was there any messages you had for the people? Anything you wanted to impart? Any kind of wisdom or life advice that you'd like to give to our audience? Who's basically your
Oh,
audience?
Yeah.
What was that?
buy my fucking books, please.
Hell yeah. Buy his
Um,
fucking books, people. Come on.
just I don't know. Life advice. Fuck. Don't do drugs. I don't know.
It's fair. It's good advice.
Don't do drugs. KFC is always an option.
KFC is always there for you people. It's always
It's
there.
there. It's the safety net of our society for people like us. No, seriously. I guess I am excited about all the things that are happening in our scene, people that are doing stuff. I hope it continues, and I hope someone, preferably me, breaks through and makes a huge amount of money. That would be great. That's I'm optimistic about the future, and I'm hoping that will happen. So
It's gonna be
that's
you,
about all
Lewis.
I got.
It's gonna be you. You know.
Yep.
I really I sent a copy of the book to this filmmaker, film student nerd in Adelaide, and I'm really pushing to try and get Viva Adelaide made into a movie.
Oh
Okay.
shit.
Yeah, I think it could work, like a groovy 90s indie film, sort of like Empire Records meets Train Spotting kind of vibe,
Oh
maybe.
yeah. Ooh yeah.
Yeah, that
Ooh
cool indie rock soundtrack. It could work. It could totally
yeah.
work.
Definitely. Oh, I could totally picture that.
You just need
Mm.
like one e-girl, right? Like the goth e-girl. Because like after the
Oh,
Amelia, yeah. I'm sorry.
what if we got that stupid Dasha bitch from Red Square and cast her as Sasha from that
Yep.
story?
Yeah.
I'm already there. I'm already I'm already there. I'm already jerking off. I'm
Yeah.
in.
At least one gratuitous nude scene. There you go. It's
Just one. She'll
just
do a sex scene. She's done it before. We can get her into it.
totally work. Along with the groovy indie rock soundtrack, it would totally work.
Yep.
Yeah.
And killer a moment in the song just as everybody comes. We got to do it.
Just Dasha unrobes. Yep. Bingo.
And then like she has one line where she talks about how her cunt is like a hamster that devours its own, you
Her pussy's a
Totally
Venus
work.
flytrap.
know.
That would totally work.
Yeah.
Let's get our people talking to her people. We got to make this happen.
Yeah, with our connection to Times Square, we'll get we'll get it.
We're gonna make it work. We're gonna make
Yeah.
this happen if it's the last thing we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And on that note,
Should
Yeah,
we wrap
thank
it up?
yeah. thank you so much for coming on, Lewis.
Yeah, thanks so
Thank you
much,
for
man.
doing that. It's been great.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for listening. This has been Subverted Subversions. I'm Jesse Larkins. I wrote a book called Soap Scum. You can find it on Amazon. It's pretty good. Some would say it's very good. King?
Yeah, I'm King Cringe. You can find me on X, Substack. I wrote books, and you can also buy them on Amazon. It would be very cool, you know. Give me money, not just Lewis. Give me money too.
Yeah, give us all money, okay?
Yeah.
We all need money.
We're all getting too old for KFC.
Yeah, and
Yeah, Lewis.
Lewis.
Yeah,
Any
you want to
final
plug your
words?
shit?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Wait,
Wait,
where can people find you?
yeah,
Can they
where can
find you
people
on
find you, Lewis?
Find me. I'm on Substack. I'm on Goodreads. My books are on Amazon and all the usual places. I don't know. Where else?
Hell yeah. You heard it from here.